The Sash My Father Wore, copyright Anthony E.C. Linford, Great Yarmouth, December 2023. Reading, as I say, from the second chapter, entitled Happy Families. I was a week off my 9th birthday, which sadly fell a mere 2 days short of Christmas. Yes, and can you imagine it? Guess how many combined Christmas and birthday presents I got. This felt most unjust to me, as I wasn't born on the same day of Jesus, so why shouldn't I get both a birthday and a Christmas present? One of my friends did, and she was born on Boxing Day. Never understood whether that was a day or a bit like wrestling on the TV. Amanda was born on the 26th of December 1962. Last Christmas she got a Barbie doll for Christmas and a boyfriend Ken for her birthday and was delighted. My mum and dad were shocked and called her parents far too worldly. Dad even suggested they might vote for Harold Wilson at the next election. On top of that, Mum, still shuddering at the idea that even a girl should play with anything so modern, suggested Amanda's mum wore one of those peace badges, the ones she reminded us of as a pagan symbol, and they look like a broken cross of Jesus. Looking directly at me, Mum repeated with her blue steely eyes levelled directly at mine, her finger pointing at what appeared to be the tip of my button nose. James Robert McCandless. You know what Pastor Frank has told us about all those dirty, long-haired, badge-wearing hippies, don't you, child? You know where he has told us their free love generation are going to end up if they don't accept Jesus and repent of their chosen lifestyle. You do know, don't you, James? Thinking of Amanda and the brightly coloured dolls that seemed to have almost characters of their own, so that when she played with them she'd give them voices, making up stories from them for them in which they had adventures, even romances. I replied, not skipping a beat, "Yes, Mother. If they don't accept Jesus, they're going straight to hell, along with all the other heathen and so-called religions." My mother smiled and settled back in her chair, returning to her knitting. My father continued reading his copy of the Daily Mail. The headline read, "Reds launch new offensive in South Vietnam." From across the room, buttering his toast as it was a school morning, he shot a glance at my mum, saying, "You know, darling, with all this Vietnam War stuff and American Christian boys getting killed by the Red Menace over there in Southeast Asia, do you think this means Jesus is coming back sooner rather than later?" As he got up to put on his jacket, walking over to Mum to peck her on the cheek while still chewing his last morsel of breakfast, she said almost cheerily, "Well, David, I honestly hope he is, because I, for one, have had it with this sinful world. I'm fed up with all its evil, its dirt, its shame, its injustice, and I'm fed up with the wicked not getting what is due to them. Those communists deserve to go to hell because they say there is no God. Just like that hippie John Lennon said, the Beatles are more popular than Jesus. What, with him sleeping with that Yoko Ono and them not even married in the sight of God?" Dad kissed her and then left, closing the door behind him with a rattle. It was still early, and I didn't even have to leave for school for at least another hour. The sky was just lightning. The kitchen was cold. Mum was at the coke stove opening the door. The flames reflected yellow on the wooden table at which we had been sitting. She was wearing her marigold washing-up gloves, which she took off before picking up the conical coke hood. It rattled as she lifted it, and the house felt different now that Dad had left for work. These moments with my mum were nice, even comfortable. Although short and squat, she had an ample bosom that made her soft to cuddle. She spoke to me again, but not with the edge that seemed to be in her voice while Dad was there earlier. This time she sounded less certain, less strident and softer. This was the mum I liked. The other one sometimes frightened me a little. Presenting me with the now empty coke hod, she said, "Be a love and fill this up for me, will you, son?" Straightening up while closing the metal hearth door, she added, "I've got so much to do this morning, and Pastor Frank is coming round with the other ladies for the women's prayer time, so be a darling, will you?" I unlocked the wooden back door with the frosted glass in the top panel, as she said to my retreating back, "Now, don't you get coke dust on that school uniform, mind you, and wash your hands when you are done." Having been given this little domestic task, I felt good, and I sensed I was being helpful. It felt like when Mum gave me the pledge to spray on the furniture. I loved how the white mist would appear settling on the wood like snow. I loved it even more when I polished it up with a duster and got to see my face in the dark wood. I thought of myself as looking just like the bright-faced woman on the TV advert. I looked at her hips and wished mine could look like that. Then I thought for a second of Dad and him working hard at universal shafting. He might have to go away to fight a nuclear war one day, and wanting hips seems soppy as well as soft. Hips were never going to win any wars, because men knew that women didn't fight. Dad was a man, a good Christian man, and I would grow up to be a good, strong Christian man too. Not some beatnik hippie with hair like a girl, even though I did secretly envy Amanda, who got to comb the long locks on her Barbie doll and had hair like an angel herself. I'll pause there and I'll do the second part of it for you soon. Once again, copyright Anthony E.C. Linford, Great Yarmouth, UK.